everyone, and welcome to the Pip and Pin Podcast. My name is Megan Nodecker, and I'm a knitwear designer from Abbotsford, British Columbia, Canada. You can find me on Instagram as Pip and Pin, on Ravelry as Knit Pip and Pin, and in the Ravelry group Pip and Pin. Today is February 27th, and it is my 50th episode, so it's pretty exciting. 50 episodes in 2 years? Something like that? I'd say that's pretty good. Considering I've only been really consistent with it since January. Or maybe December. I don't know. I feel like this podcast has definitely had its sporadic bits, but I think we're in a good groove now. I like it. And I just wanted to say thank you so much to everyone who's subscribed and who watches and who participates in knit-alongs and communicates with me and comments and gives thumbs up and all that good stuff. I wouldn't really be able to do my job at all if it wasn't for you guys. So thank you so much for everything. 50 episodes, that's pretty cool. To start things off, I'm just going to talk quickly about a knit-along, make-along that I'm hosting. It is the Fix It or Forget It, and you can find all the information. I have a video that I made. I'll link it up here, and I'll link it down below as well. Basically, this knit-along is to fix things or frog them. We all have those kind of knits in our wardrobe that we love or want to love, but there's something that's not quite right about them that needs to get fixed. Either lengthening sleeves or shortening the body or making it into a cardigan or darning something. If you have to fix it, like mending, that totally counts. Over dyeing totally counts as well. Or forgetting it, so you can just frog the whole project and use yarn for something new. That is also entirely acceptable. This is going to go on until March 31st, and yeah, if you want to watch the video or go to our Ravelry group, all the information for the knit-along is there. This week, my goal for this knit-along, obviously I can't, put entries into my own knit-along, that's a little silly, but I am participating in this one, and my goal is to complete one thing off my list every week. So last week I frogged my Mount Pleasant tee, which felt really good because now the yarn is just ready and waiting for me to make it into something new. And this week I fixed a sweater, and I don't have it because I was looking for it and I just don't know where it went. We don't have a very big apartment, so I don't know where it is, but hopefully somewhere. But it is Justin's gray sweater, the Field Henley. He loves that sweater. He wears it all the time. And so there was a hole in the armpit where the seam had kind of split. And then on the collar as well, there was a little, just one of the threads had broken and needed to be repaired. So I did that. I spent a couple hours and that didn't take a couple hours, but then I also sewed up some of his work shirts and stuff like that. So I spent one day of the weekend just mending things, and it was really nice to get that off my list. So yeah, my goal for this knit-along for me personally is to just tackle one thing a week. I think that's totally doable. And then by the time it's over, all my stuff that's been niggling at me will be done, hopefully. Right, so before I get into the knitting too much here, I want to share a new thing that is coming to the Pip and Pin Ravelry store tomorrow. And it's a new pattern. It is a pattern for these guys. These are the Bear Mountain socks. Because there's a Bear Mountain here and the yarn is called Grizzly, and it was just the perfect name. I was asking for suggestions and that's the one that I liked best. Yeah, so these are knit from the top to the toe, and they have this beautiful panel all across the top here, and this is an elongated You have kind of elongated stitches and a cable and cluster stitches, and it's a fun little thing. It seems a little intimidating at first because you're like, whoa, there's a lot going on here. But really, it's 6 rows, and you're really only doing stuff on like 2 of them. So it's not that crazy. And then the back of the sock and the bottom is all stockinette stitch. So it's just that nice little detail at the top there. And then just a wedge toe. I've done a fish lips kiss heel because that's the one that I like best. In the pattern, there's a instructions for a short row heel, which gives a very similar appearance to this. Or you can put in whatever heel you want. Doesn't really matter to me. Yeah, so these are going to be available on Ravelry tomorrow. All right, to jump right on into knitting, I have a finished object. Can you guess what it is? I am wearing my finished object, the Once in Floral sweater by Maxim Cyr, a fellow Canadian designer. I love this sweater. I really enjoyed knitting it. It was a really well-written pattern, and even doing the alterations that I did, it was still like, it wasn't hard to alter the pattern because I basically did a large size for the top bit, and then for the sleeves and the body, I did a medium. And if you are a regular watcher of the podcast, last episode I was talking about I was almost done. I was done, but there was something that I needed to fix. So I basically re-knit a good portion of the body because I had added shaping to it. Now the pattern doesn't call for any shaping, it's just a straight body. And I had added some thinking that it would give me what I wanted and it didn't. It was too fitted in the body to be cohesive with the rest of the sweater. Like I wanted mine to be kind of slouchy and oversized and like a sweatshirt that I could just throw on and wear every day and, you know, put on with my jeans and my boots and feel like I can go anywhere. And with the body shaping, it was just a little bit too formal for me. It's not a formal sweater at all, but just having that little bit of shaping made it a little bit too fancy pants. And I am not that. I just want things to be comfy and cozy and easy to wear. And I feel like with the shaping that I did, it wasn't going to be easy to wear. So instead of ripping out the whole body right away, because I do have a deadline. I did have a deadline for this sweater, which is the Rose City Yarn Crawl. And instead of ripping out the body and then possibly not finishing it on time, I instead just left it because it was still definitely a wearable sweater. It was a little bit shorter than I had wanted in the body as well, but still totally wearable for the weekend if I wanted to. So what I did instead was I provisionally cast on as many stitches as I needed for the top bit, and then I knit, just straight tube. I think I added a couple increases because my hips with the shaping that I did ended up being a little bit wider. So, but that's fine. I added a little bit of shaping out and then just knit a tube, and it ended up being about this long. And then I cut my sweater into pieces. So with a couple of spare knitting needles, I went around the whole body of my sweater right above where the shaping started and picked up all the stitches, and then right below where all the shaping had ended, picked up all those stitches, and then I cut it so that there was just the bottom bit because I really didn't want to knit all that ribbing and stuff again. So there was just the bottom bit and then the top, of course. And then I kitchen knitted it all together. And I thought that was going to be a disaster. Not really. I mean, I'm pretty proficient at kitchening, but to keep tension over that long of a stretch, I knew it was going to be a challenge. At the bottom part, there are parts where you can tell it's a little bit looser. But this is a black tweed sweater, and I feel like it's very forgiving. I don't think anybody's going to notice because nobody's going to be looking at my stitches that hard. So I'm okay with that. I did have to go through, especially because I started with the bottom and then I could see how I needed to change my tension. So my top one was actually pretty good. I didn't have to fiddle with it too much after the fact, but my bottom seam, I did have to go through and tighten it up a little bit just so that it would match the tension of my actual knitting. And I thought that was going to take days. But really, I got it done in a day and a half. So, or like an evening of knitting. At knit night or knit day, knit afternoon, whatever. I spent a whole day at Sam's house and we just knit. And I did most of it there. I did all of the picking up stitches and I cut it and everything. I did that there. And then when I got home that night, I kitchen-knitted it all together. And then the next day I just tightened everything up and seamed in all my ends and yeah, that was pretty much it. So yeah, really love this sweater. It's slouchy, it's amazing. The sleeves are a little bit long. And I feel like one of them I knit a little bit tighter than the other one. But I think that's something, again, only I'm going to notice. They are quite long, but I also kind of like that because then I can wear it like this. And I can still wear it up and I can push it up if I need to, like, yeah, so yeah. The other thing that I changed with the sweater was the neckline. If you watched the last episode, I had finished the collar as well, and it was a twisted rib collar. It was about 1 inch and a bit. I just found that it was going to be too high up on my neck. Even this, I just did an I-cord, like I picked up around the neckline, knit a couple rows, and then did an I-cord bind off. Even this, I can tell is not going to bother me too much, but I can tell I'm going to be pulling it down a little bit because I just can't have things on my neck. It's too much. I'm not going to stand up right this second, but I will insert a little video so you can see the whole thing. Also, a fun fact about this sweater, I put in some of the details to my Ravelry page yesterday, and I started it on December 26th and finished it on February 26th. So it took me exactly 2 months to knit start to finish. That was pretty cool. Okay, so I have a couple of whips to share. Not really much though. And I just haven't really cast on anything. I mean, I just finished this yesterday. So I haven't cast on another sweater or anything like that, but there are a couple of things that I'm working on. So the first guy is, you've seen this before. I'm calling these my woodsy socks. These are a pair of Afterthought Everythings that I'm knitting. So right now I am still just knitting a big tube. Eventually this tube will be cut in half and it will become a pair of socks. The yarn I'm using for this is Tiny Human Knits Merino Nylon Fingering in Scrappy Socks in the Woods. And so yeah, this stripe pattern is pretty phenomenal. For the cuffs and everything, I'm using some leftovers from a different pair of socks, and this is Red Fox Fibers Wild Sock in the Grizzly colorway. So I did add a bit to these. These have been my kind of walking around socks and things that I've been working on while not working on my sweater, basically. I do have another pair of socks on the needles, but they're kind of falling by the wayside because this is just way too fun to knit. And I'm just knitting the whole thing. Like the reason why I'm doing Afterthought Everything socks is because I don't really know I didn't really know what the stripe pattern was going to be. So I couldn't commit to I just didn't want to commit to my stripes. And I figured doing Afterthought Everythings, I can decide later how I want them to be. Plus this is a 50-gram skein. So, I mean, with a 100-gram skein, I know for sure that I could make the stripes match. With a 50-gram skein, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to or not, and I need to plan my stripes. So I need to be able to make them, I'm okay with them being mismatched, but they have to be mismatched purposefully. Because I don't want it to just look like a mistake. Because I'm a little particular like that. Oh yeah, so that's that. And then the Union, I showed last time a cowl that I had finished. I ripped that out. It just wasn't what I was envisioning. So I started again. And this time it's going to be a shawl, and which was my original intention for the yarn the whole time. And right now it's just a little baby. So it's just a little baby triangle. This is using Union Fiber DK in Venice Peach, and eventually I will be adding some black and some brown to it as well. But it's this kind of like beautiful coral, like it's not bright, it's kind of muted, but it is very saturated. So it's a little different than the yarns that I've been using recently. So I'm kind of excited about it. Has some speckles of black and pink and gold and all those lovely, lovely colors. Yeah, I just started with, I did kind of like an elongated an elongated garter tab. Usually you kind of do it 3 by 3 by 3 and you start with 9 stitches. I find that with triangular shawls, sometimes that can like create a weird bump. I'm still gonna have to block this one out, but by making it a little bit longer, you can kind of take some of that out. So if you look a little closer, you can see my center stitches are still increasing, but this is actually picked up stitches. Get that out of the way. This is actually picked up stitches here, and my side increases don't really start until about here. So this is all flat, and then all my increases are going out from here. It doesn't seem like, and it seems like it wants to curl and do weird things. That's all gonna block out, but it'll just make it so it doesn't have that weird little humpy thing. And that's it. That's really all I've been working on. I haven't cast on anything else. I have an idea of something, some ideas of what I want to do, but I haven't committed to anything yet, so I don't even really want to talk about them. This might end up being a really short episode. I do have a couple other things I want to talk about though. One of them is the Rose City Yarn Crawl, because that is happening not this weekend, but next weekend. Oh my goodness, it's a week. Good thing I finished my sweater. The Rose City Yarn Crawl, it's in Portland. Very excited. My friend and I, Sam from Hand Me My Knitting, are driving down on Friday morning. It takes about 5 hours to get there from here, which sounds crazy, but not really. We got a hotel. We're spending the weekend down there. I think it's going to be really fun. I remember as a 20-something-year-old, when all I did was go to concerts, we would drive down to Portland just to go see a band. So driving down for a weekend doesn't seem like such a big deal to me. Some people have been asking like where we're going to be and what we're going to be doing. As I said last time too, we have an itinerary kind of. We have a general idea of the things we want to do and the things we want to see. It keeps changing a little bit. So there's no definites. We might be going to... So Friday we're going to drive down. We're probably going to stop in Seattle for lunch and go to Trader Joe's because we don't have that here, and just take our time getting down. And then... go, like, we also want to see a little bit of Portland, so I think we'll be going to like KALs and Voodoo Donuts. We're staying right in the Pearl District, I think. So there's a couple other places, like non-yarny places, that we want to do. So we're probably going to do that on like the Friday, and then maybe go to the event that Starlight is having on Friday night. Again, not a guarantee. We're going to have to see how we feel. We might be beat, but we'll see. Saturday is all yarn stores, so that's going to be a really fun day. I don't know. I don't know where any of them are. I don't know what order we're doing them in, or if we're even going to make it to all of them. So basically, I'm going to try my very best to keep Instagram updated, and like on my stories, just kind of say, oh, okay, we're headed to this one now, or we're headed over here now, or have a general sort of idea like that. I'm gonna try. I have notoriously terrible at social media when it comes to events. I think last Knit City I took exactly 3 photos, and I'm not very good at it. But I am going to make a really big effort to, because I want to meet, and I mean, we're going a little bit outside of our zone. So I am really excited to maybe meet some new people that I haven't met before. So I will try and keep that updated. I know Saturday after lunch, we're going to Starlight, I think. And then Sam, she also has a YouTube channel. She's Hand Me My Knitting. And so we're going to do a YouTube live on Saturday night. But we've decided to change it to Sunday morning. We don't have to check out of our hotel until like noon. So I think we're going to do it on Sunday morning instead. That way, because Saturday night we're on the West Coast. So with the time differences and stuff, if we don't do it until 8 at night or 9 at night, it might be much too late for some people to catch it on the East Coast or other parts of the world. And yeah, so Sunday morning we decided. Also, it's probably going to be dark, so the lighting's going to be terrible. Sunday we might actually have a chance, depending on our hotel and how it is. But yeah, so Sunday sometime in the morning we're not gonna wake up super early, but I'm guessing around 9 or 10, I would say. We're gonna be live for an hour on this channel and on her channel. I think we'll just have both our phones going. So yeah, again, more info as the days get closer, but that is a plan. That's about it, I think. That's it for knitting stuff and Rose City Yarn Crawl stuff. I did do a little bit of other crafty things this week. Actually, this morning, I got inspired. I picked up at Knit City last year a little set of watercolor paints. And these are made. They're handmade by Caitlin French, who is she does all natural pigments. So she hand makes these watercolors out of natural pigments, which is pretty phenomenal if you think about the amount of work that takes. And so I got myself a little set. I got to pick all my colors and put them together. And I finally used them this morning. For Christmas, Katie got me some paintbrushes and a little book to do. So I just kind of, I just kind of did a little thing this morning to kind of test out all my colors and get back into it. I honestly haven't painted in a million years. But it was really fun. It was really fun to sit down and do that and do it again. And I kind of cleared off my desk and made a nice little space. And it was nice to do something creative that wasn't knitting, because sometimes I get trapped by knitting, not in a bad way, but every once in a while it is nice to get out of that and to do something else. So I'm excited to continue doing a little more. I just did a little bit of swatching and then some play with some water and color, as you do with watercolors. And one of them is shiny. I wonder if you can see it. The top one there is, I can't remember what's in it, but it is like sparkly black, but it's gold sparkle. It's pretty cool. Yeah, that's it. I really, this week, kind of family-wise, we haven't done anything. Did we do anything this weekend or this week? Not really. No, we just kind of had lazy weekends, and the weather's been cloudy and kind of rainy and typical BC weather, so not very inspiring to go and do anything. This weekend, though, we have something that I'm looking forward to, actually, and we're gonna go get haircuts. All three of us are gonna go at the same time and I'm getting a trim, George is getting a trim, and Justin's cutting his hair off. because he has like long hair and he had a big beard, but then he got a new beard trimmer, and so he didn't shave it off, but he like trimmed it, and I was like, oh, now I need a haircut because my beard doesn't match my hair. So I just made an appointment for all of us, so that's what we're going to do. And then I think we're going to go out for lunch. Maybe, I don't know what else after that, but that's about it. Yeah, so again, thank you so much for being with me for 50 episodes. That's pretty awesome. If you like this episode, make sure you hit the thumbs up button and subscribe. Have a good week, guys. Bye.